Now, I know the question you were asking, which is, of course, what is the nature of this martini? Well, extra dirty, extra dry. So you've got your gin, you've got olive juice, which is what makes it dirty, and no ice, which is what makes it dry, and no vermouth. Just gin, 2 olives, little olive juice. Extra dirty, extra dry. Okay, so let me go to my channel, and I see that I am live streaming, and hopefully the live streaming will be as seamless as it was a couple days ago, or was it yesterday? I don't remember. We are being hit right now with the worst, the coldest day in history. I think it's -9 right now. I don't know if it's actually gotten down to the record low. But happily the furnace seems to be keeping up. So today we're going to talk about productivity, or real-time creativity, you might say, in the while we work. While we work. Not going to whistle while I work. I'm going to blab while I work. Why? Why, you ask? Because that's what I do. Okay, so one thing that I noticed, I kind of whipped in a background here, which is kind of like an out of focus background, and then this layer will be over top when it's all said and done, just as it serves kind of as a color correction level. But the main thing I needed to do was take my main art level and get it inked, and now I'm going to work on the process of getting it colored. And then what I'm doing is I'm going to be erasing some mouths, because we're going to have a layer for mouths, so that we'll have that for lip sync, and we're going to have a layer for shadows and highlights. Okay, so that's how we're going to do it. Should be pretty straightforward. But I noticed something in OpenTunes that actually probably should be set differently. As I'm getting into this, I'm seeing that I really want to be able to read the names of the colors better, and it seems to me to be more important to be able to read them than to necessarily see them. The labels are quite important. So I'm going to see where I can stick this. Okay, I really want it there. Yep, I think that worked. Okay, so all I had to do was just grab the little sort of window and then get everything readjusted a little bit. I think that'll work. Now this may backfire. I may wind up deciding to do it a little differently, but at this point I think that's going to be okay. I like the way the shadow and highlight layers are working with the underlying layers, and actually want to add a little bit more here. But yeah, anyway, so what I'm going to blab about today is real-time creative work. Meaning this. I'm going to use a few examples. 2 from television and 2 from the wonderful, wacky world of comic books. And the 2 from television would be Stephen J. Cannell and Mike Post. And the 2 from comic books would be Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, although you could insert John Buscema in there in place of Kirby, because they both They actually both were very fast pencilers. So, what about those guys? Well, glad you asked. One of the things we want to do is, okay, by the way, as you guys know, I can't do two things at once. And so anyway, okay, let me say this. What these guys did that I think was kind of interesting was, in the process of, I don't really like that. Let's do that and then use the highlight layer over top of that. So I'm going to go here. Yep. I like that. Okay, so what I'm getting at is Stephen J. Cannell as a writer and his very good friend Mike Post as a musical composer who scored all of Cannell's shows. They both worked really, really fast. Basically, I think about that, like, you know, you really want to draw and create basically as fast as you can think, because for the simple reason that it doesn't really do you any good to think about it too much. Now, you want to step back and plan your work. I'm not saying you don't want to plan your work, but what I'm saying is, I don't know, I think I want that to be more the highlight than the specular. What I'm saying is that as creative people, there is a proclivity to think so much that it's what they call the paralysis of analysis. You know, you sort of in other words, nobody ever became better at drawing by you know, thinking about it. Basically, you can improve and you can get better by finding distinctions that make it easier to do a better job in the future and all this sort of thing. I mean, hey Oxer, I did not update. Why don't you do me a favor and post some comments on what the features are? Because, you know, from a 0.2 to 0.3 is kind of a big, that's a big jump. So anyway, in my own work, what I'm finding is more and more, I don't think that much. I just go. And when you stop, here's when you stop. You stop when you bump into a problem where your knowledge of, oops, wrong color there, folks, where your knowledge of your tools prevents you from moving forward because you know what you intend to do, but you bumped into something you don't yet know how to do. And that's the difference between, I guess, good intentions and craft. Because in order to have real craft in what you're doing, you definitely need to not only know how to do the core skills, which in this case would be, I guess, drawing and then animating and, you know, timing, things like that. Maybe painting. But you also need to know your tools. You need to know your tools well enough that what you intend to do, you do in fact know how to do. If there is a gap between what you know how to do and what you see in your head, then you're going to bump into some brick walls and you're going to have to pause and either get to know your tools better or refine your techniques or whatever it is. So, and there's no shortcut, man. You know, right now I gotta commend my son, who has really been getting into cartooning a lot, to the point where he's actually gotten commissions from some kids at school to draw like caricature type things. And he bumped into the limits of my paint. I mean, my paint's great when you're starting out because it's just, you know, I mean, there are layers, but basically it's a canvas and you paint. You know, you're not cutting out selections and moving them around, and obviously nothing's animated or anything like that. So, but he bumped into the limitations. So what do I do, Dad? You know, well, as much as I've ranted and raved about Krita, you know, it's actually a very capable program. Do I want to recommend that? You know, do I want to recommend GIMP? You know, so he's doing the GIMP thing, doing pretty well, getting along with it, and actually had a couple questions today on how to do a couple technical things, like matting out shadows so so that they're clipped to your character, that sort of thing. So, but if you don't know your tools well enough to know how to do what you intend to do, then you're obviously going to have to do some homework and bone up so that you can once again get to the business of being creative. Now, if you don't even know what you intend to do, in other words, if you're struggling with the idea, or you're dismissing your own ideas out of hand, if you're that person, then I want to recommend that you stop it. And I mean stop it like right now. Take the first stupidest idea that comes into your head and run with it. Because you'll accomplish way more by just doing something with your stupid idea. And actually, it's probably not as stupid as you think it is. But it might be, and this is a point I want to make. Stephen J. Cannell is not, or was not, he died, when was it? He died a few years ago. I think it was 2010 or 11. He was not the best writer. Mike Post, as the most prolific composer of television underscore and themes in the history of the world, 2 of his songs are playing somewhere 24 hours a day. But I'm going to tell you, he is not the greatest composer in the world. A lot of his work is pretty, I don't know what the word is. I'm not even going to try to come up with a word. I'm just going to tell you that Mike Post is a good composer, but he's not the best. I mean, there's plenty of guys that, whoopsie poo, that was a boo-boo, that in my view are and frankly, guys like John Debney, who I think John Debney worked under Mike Post early in his career. Certainly Ron Jones, who scores, I think it's Family Guy, and he's either doing the Family Guy, McFarlane stuff, or he's doing the Groening stuff. I can't remember which, but anyway, but these guys they're fast. And the thing that's interesting about that to me is that when you go fast and you just sort of trust yourself and don't worry about whether it's good enough or anything like that, you always improve. The more you do, the more you improve. And here's the key. There is no other way. There is no other way. You can think about it. You can poke at different tools. Well, I'm going to try the latest release of Blender today. Well, I'm going to try PAP. I'm going to try TV Paint. I'm going to try Toon Boom. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. But guess what? None of that's going to make you any better, because all your time is invested in just learning those tools. When you get better is when you're actually creating something. So for that reason, and bearing in mind some of the most prolific creators ever, Cannell was one of them, and Mike Post is one of them, and Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were one of them. What they did was they rocked and rolled. They didn't sweat the small stuff. They didn't sweat the quality, frankly, if the truth be known. They would just go, because there wasn't time to think it to death. And so and the key for me is that they were happy. At least that's by all appearances, you know, if you go by interviews and things like that, you can see. These are guys, the guys that seem to be the most prolific also seem to enjoy the work and the most and agonize over it the least. That's just something I've noticed. It's a common pattern with guys that are really, really prolific. They don't tend to be the best. They don't tend to be elite skill. They're good, but they're not the best. They're just okay. You know, they're maybe even better than average or whatever, but and so for me, I just take away from that observation that it's better to just move quickly and have fun. And just know that you will get better. The more you do it, you'll just keep getting better. Okay, let's see here. Now I'm basically erasing mouths one by one. I'm just getting rid of them. Because I got to put them in a different layer. Okay, so now one thing that is bugging me a little bit is, oh, I see. Yep, and then it's going to go up like this. So now one could argue that I might be putting too much detail in Akari. That's okay. I'm gonna roll with it at this point and just kind of see. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Meant to go B and then paint something. So now what I'm going to do is go to my shadows. I seem to gravitate to the shadows first. Okay. And obviously there are ways to mat the shadow to the character you're painting over so that you can't go outside of the lines. But I'm not doing it that way. I'm just choosing to be careful and not go outside the lines. So Oxer, if you're there, what are the features in 1.3? What's cool about it? Talk to me, man. Talk to all the fans out there, of which there are exactly 2 watching the live stream. You know, the only reason I'm live streaming is because I just don't want to take the time to upload the videos and all that sort of stuff. I'm being lazy. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to keep checking back here. Yeah, I definitely feel like I really kind of overdid the detail. But maybe not. See, once the lights are turned off... Oh, darn it. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Yeah, I'll check with I assume Darren did some kind of video recapping the new features or whatever. That'd be cool. You can always count on Darren to know what's going on with the program. So anyway, Oxer says that a ton of updates. Huh, that's cool. I'm looking forward to that one. When they update OpenTunes, the updates tend to be smart. And they don't tend to break the program. They don't tend to be things that, you know, like, seems like a good feature, but now 10 things that you're used to doing all the time don't work anymore and stuff like that. That doesn't seem to happen too much with OpenTunes. They seem to release very infrequently, and when they do release, it's usually a meaningful. From my test so far, the brush feels better and is less glitchy. Yeah, that's cool. I wonder if they got a fill tool in the, if they implemented the fill tool in the raster levels. That would be useful. Golly, that'd be great. So I want to be a little bolder with my lines here. Now technically the light is in front of Akari, and you know the ninja guys are backlit, so that's why I'm putting this sort of halo around her. Okay, we'll just double check here. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same concept here. I think we're okay. Whoa, wrong color. Wrong level, actually. So, yeah, that's not too bad. Just sort of suggesting the details. Now, I need to put the specular on her eyes. So, boom. Ooh, that's too much specular, folks. We can't have that. This brush is actually not the most wonderful brush for what I'm doing. I wonder if I should actually create a... let's change this to specular big, and then I'm going to go... We'll call this spec small, and then what I'm going to do is go into my raster brushes, and I think what I really want is the one that looks like a tentacle drawing pen. Okay. I select... Oh wait, it's actually that one I want. Yep, there we go. That gives me a little more control. Hello. I like it. I like it muy mucho. I know there was some update he had mentioned for the vector layers. Let me scan the site really fast. Dude, you're the man. I appreciate that. That's cool. Alright, now I'm going to go back in with the eraser. See, another thing about not worrying so much about the edges is that you can always go in with the eraser and sort of clean up, you know, clean up like that, you know. Sometimes I'll just like erase a piece out and then just come on back in and whoops. I went outside the line. Can't have that. Okay. That's not too bad. Now, if I can, what I want to do, yes, let's hit the D key. Okay, okay, that'll work. I can work with that. I'm going to have to do a little rotation. This may not work spectacularly. That's okay. That's close enough. Close enough for rock and roll. Okay, so now, having done that, I better get back here and make her hair the color of hair, and make her nightie the color of a nightie, and make her irises the color of irises, and make her pupils emblackulated. And now I'm going back to my touch-up layer, and I'm gonna just go ahead and make some tweakages. Alright, this is obviously not happening, so get rid of those. Do I want to do this? Why not? Oops, I missed. Oh, I missed again. I keep missing. That's better. Okay. Wonga donga. And then I'm going to touch that back up with a little bit of eraser action. So it's always a question of how far do you want to go here with highlights and shadows. You know, there's definitely a... You can go too far to where it starts looking too much like polished art and not like a painting. Now, one thing up here, yeah, the eyebrows, which, by the way, I am not happy with those eyebrows. I think that's wrong. I think that's not brows, that's mascara. Let me look at that. Skin? That's kind of weird. Hair? Nothing. Irises? And that's picking up the eye. So I wonder if I put the... I didn't put the eye details. Maybe I put them in the mouth layer. I didn't. I wonder why. I wonder why the eyedropper is not picking up these. Maybe it's because they're not fills. They are... Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to call this mascara. Alright. Hit the B key. Nope, darn it. That's not... It's like I've got shadow over that. And I definitely don't like the way that came out. Oxer has a message retracted. What does that mean? Oxer, did you say something naughty? Okay. I'm gonna have a... I am going to make a bold decision right now. I'm going to hit the eraser. I'm going to put it in selective mode. And I am going to try erasing this color. Oh, good. It worked. Okay. My sense... Okay. And then this must be this color. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to fix these eyes. I'm not happy with the way they came out. Okay, so that's doing okay, and I think we can go ahead and use the P key. Whoops, I went a little outside of the lines again there. Folks, Alt-I for me shrinks my brush. Made a little hotkey for that. Okay, so it's always a pain when you have to go in and do little fix-ups like this, but it is what it is. It's a small price you pay to, you know, make it look better. So, trying to format the message better. Oh, no worries, man. Just mess around with it. You'll figure it out. Okay, so that's in the shadow layer. My sense is that I want to put my... I've really got to make a decision here. Do I want to put... Where do I want to put my eyebrows? I don't really want to put them in a separate layer completely, but I'm going to bore the entire world of YouTube if I sit here and think about it too long, so... Alright, so what is that color? So I've got this one little gremlin in the middle of my screen. Boop! Oh, it's color 0. Okay. You can't erase color 0, so what do? Well, you grab your brush, you go back down here to hair. Actually, the P key. There we go. Problem solved. Shadow. Why did it... Oh, I see what I did. Oh, come on. Shadow. Did I get it? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Windows Ink support. Don't care about that. My paintbrush for tunes raster levels. We already have that. New option for the output settings. Added a clapperboard. Okay. I read up on the clapperboard thing. My paintbrush for tunes raster level. It must have finally made it into the official release, because maybe it wasn't part of the official release before, even though it's been there for a while. Yeah, the clapperboard thing to me is like the dumbest idea in the history of... I don't know what they were thinking on the whole clapperboard thing. But maybe there's some application that I don't understand that makes it cool. Hello? Alright, let's see. Shift and trace feature me could be useful. Add command line qualifiers for specifying system path overrides. And well, that's useful for a lot of people. I mean, with OpenTunes Portable, thanks to Turtletooth, we kind of already have solved that problem of the stuff folder and having to, you know, not wanting to dink around with the Windows registry. But being able to just override it on the command line is a very good thing. The idea of being locked to some entries in the Windows registry is a monumentally dumb thing. So it's good that they've fixed that. Convert tunes for convert command, multiple nodes at once by control drag. Yeah, might be useful. Reverted alt dragging feature to the FX schematic. Allowed to use duplicate command in the X sheet. Able to specify matte color for saving transparent raster levels in non-alpha enabled. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so it'd be like if you're saving a JPEG, it'll take the background and like make it fuchsia or some obvious color that you can use in other programs for quickly matting out the area that's supposed to be transparent. That's kind of useful. Okay, where are we at here? Yeah, unfortunately, unlike doing pencil tests, this process is kind of slow by comparison. This whole I'm going to call this this painting and shadowing. I'm going to call this browse. Okay, and the brow color, I need to go alpha up, and then the brow color is supposed to be, I believe, this color. Did that work? Yes, it did work. Good, thank you. And then I think what we decided was I'm gonna turn the alpha down somewhat. So let me just go ahead and, ooh, that is a little bit aggressive there, Dave. Okay. I think they should be slightly darker. Yes. And then possibly take the alpha off a bit. It would have to be about there. So let's go 210 to be specific. Alright, and then let's just erase a little bit there. I think that's actually not too bad. I think I could live with that. So let's go here and do the same doggone thing. What is the line of dialogue here? I probably should zoom out and see that. Huh, you're correct about that. Okay. I don't know. It's probably going to become a bone of contention, like how thick are Akari's eyebrows actually supposed to be. This is something I find a little disconcerting. I'm drawing over a little area here that was already drawn in. Okay, so if I turn this off, you can see that. And instead of drawing over it, there seems to be a sort of resistance. Now, if you press real hard, then it goes ahead and goes over, but you see what I mean? It's not, it's kind of weird the way OpenTunes sort of deals with who has precedence. Okay, one thing that I am getting some strange things happening here today, though. Oh, it's because I got selective selected. Okay. So now this should work. Yeah. So now I wonder if I take the shadow color, go back over it. Yeah, that kind of works. Kind of works. But, you know, this is where I'm dealing with sort of persnickety stuff. You know, let me see. I'm going to take a brief digression to look at the comments here. Ton of bug fixes. You can reload PSP. Yeah, well, it's PSD. I think it gives you the option too to maybe to either make it a sequence or to spread the layers across levels. Some of the enhancements look promising. All I care about is no crashing and better rush control. Always using workmates. Yeah, I've been using. I'll tell you, I've been using Save All for months, and that's not been an issue for me anymore. This version I've been using, I've actually been using this version for, I'm gonna say, 6 weeks or so, and it's been remarkably stable, and I haven't had a lot going on that, you know, makes me mad at OpenTunes. So I am not gonna worry about her mouth here. In fact, I'm just going to erase it. I'm going to have to erase all the mouths anyway. I knew I was going to have to do that when I drew them, but it's like, just lets you kind of see what you've got, I guess. Shadow, color. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom in here on this girl, and the first thing I'm going to do is give her a little bit of a shadow line there. Whoop, little boop on the nose. I wonder if yeah, that didn't work. But I don't mind having a bit of a line there, I must say. Okay, so now, similar thing there. And obviously, gotta get that one. Okay, so I don't like those brows. Well, here's the thing. I actually wonder if I'm going to regret not putting the brows in their own level. Seems crazy to have to do that, and this is actually getting kind of out of control here. The problem is that the brows are baked into all this other paint that I'm using for shadows and stuff. So that means that if I decide I have to go in and get rid of the brows or put them on another level, erasing what I've done here today is going to be a major pain. So, with that in mind, I want to think about this somewhat carefully. Okay, let's hit the old E key and clean this mess up here, because that's not acceptable. Okay, Oxer says there's some iteration. Huh. Yeah, I don't really do the. I mean, I have a Git account, but because I am a programmer, but I don't do like the daily builds thing. What I do is I wait till there's a major release and then give it a go and see how it goes. I don't see anything in the list there based on what I've been experiencing that seems that compelling in terms of wow, this is a must-have upgrade kind of thing. But I'm sure probably this week I'll go ahead and check it out anyway. So what if we were to take this, cut it out of here. I don't want to delete the styles. I'm going to do it. I'm getting them out of there. And then I'm going to paste it back in here. Because the brow will never interfere with the mouth. And if I had to separate those into separate levels, it wouldn't be hard to do. So that's what I'm doing, by gum and by golly. It wouldn't shock me if this, my whole strategy for how I'm doing mouths and brows, evolves anyway. But see, now I can erase it like this and not create other problems, although I do see that there's already a problem here that's deserving of attention. Okay. Yeah, so with that, I can go here, here, and here. And the basic problem I have is I'm trying to work with a brush that's a little broader than I probably should be working with. But this is cool. The other thing that's actually really cool about this, okay, well, it's not like really cool, but it's somewhat cool, is I can go ahead and put that layer on top. And I think I like that. I think I want the brows. We're kind of going with the classic anime brows are always on top. Oops. Brows are on top concept. But the thing about it that's a little bit irritating is that in large part I really just want to go like this and just draw the eyebrows, you know, like a quick pencil sketch kind of thing. I don't know. We're making this up as we go along. So now this guy, oh, I see what's going on. That's 338. This is 337. What the heck is the difference between 338 and 337? Let's find out by hitting the W key. Oh, 338 and 337 are just slight variations so that you can feel like maybe he's talking. Okay. Get to the animating. Oh, okay. Gotcha. So I can iterate like I do in development to go back to the prior version of the project. Yeah. Very good idea. Well, there kind of is a way to go backwards. The way you go backwards is you simply save multiple versions of the project, and then if you really need to protect your drawings, just go to the folder where your drawings are and archive them. You could just wrap them up in a zip file and give that zip file a date. So now all the drawings are still in that folder, but there's also a zip file in there. Now if you change the drawings, they're all changed, but if you have to get back to the earlier ones, just go into the zip file and pull them out. There's your versioning system. So you don't, and I say that because it's really not the greatest idea to depend on the developers to integrate all kinds of features into your program if there's a simple, you know, if there's a simple way apart from the program itself to solve the same problem, because chances are the standalone solution is going to be a more robust solution. What I just described to you is a pretty robust solution. So what would that look like in the real world? Well, and actually, as I'm saying this, I actually thought of something that may be a glitch about it that makes it more difficult than I am describing. But I gotta say, you know, if they're gonna implement some kind of version control in the program, then it better be absolutely perfectly bug-free, or it'll cause you to lose work. But what I would basically do, if you have raster levels, then you wind up with all these drawings that are inserted in these subfolders. Let's see, extras. Let me see. Let's figure this out. This is actually something I'd like to figure out. My concept was to find the folder that has the drawings in it. Okay, so in the Tunes project folder, which in this case is Val's Anime because the creator's name is Val. You've got outputs. Okay. You've got drawings. There it is, the battle. Okay, so under the battle you got all these TLV files, which means these are going to be the tunes raster levels. So that's a little problematic. Yeah, it could be a hot mess. I agree with you. Well, and if I had to get back to an old version of a level, I would just drag the drawings into a new level. You know, I would definitely kind of start clean, and if necessary, do a I'm losing my train of thought because I'm reading at the same time. But if necessary, do a cleanup operation on them as well. But the basic shortcoming of OpenTunes right now, as far as I can tell, is that if you're working with tunes, if you're working with regular raster levels, it just saves the drawings. Now here you've got, under extras, you've got the battle as well. And there's just one drawing in there. So, yeah. So the basic problem is that the drawings are bundled up in the TLV file. And, but having said that, you could just save the TLV file, right? Let's give that a try. Let's give that a try. I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so here's the concept. I want to back up my project. Okay, so I'm going to go here, and everything for this project would be in here. So if I really wanted to back this up, the first thing I would do is I would just archive this whole thing. I would pack it all into a RAR file or a zip file, and boom, I've just created a snapshot of the whole project. And by the way, Oxer, I want to tell you this. I had to do this just last week because the scene I'm working on right now, I can't even remember all the steps I went through to do this, but I had it so screwed up that I'm like, oh my gosh. So on my computer, I run Backblaze. So it's like for $60 a year, I've got unlimited backup, okay, on the cloud. So I had to go into a backup from 4 days earlier and unpack this whole project back into the project file or folder to get to an earlier state. And it's the first time that's happened. But at least I had a way to do it. But you could do the same thing. Now, I don't worry about it because Backblaze is archiving my stuff and it's all time stamped. So if I want to get a backup from 1 day ago, 2 days ago, 10 days ago, I can get it. But if you don't have Backblaze, you would want to do something like just take all this and boom, add it to an archive. And then now you've got a RAR file sitting in here in the project folder, and you know what it contains. You know, there's a backup of your entire project. Now, what I was saying a moment ago is something more like this. Let's do a new scene. We'll go ahead and save all. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, I guess it'd be drawings, the battle, and pick a level. I'll pick the biggest one because this is going to be the one that's got the most stuff. I need to learn to start naming my levels intelligently when I create them. But now if I take this, which just as easily could have been pulled out of a zip file, and drag it into OpenTunes and load it up, baby, what do I get? Okay, so that's all my shadows. That's all my shadows. So I don't know. That's interesting. What level? This is something that warrants more study. It would really be smart to know what, you know, basically where OpenTunes keeps stuff. And this has been happening a lot, is that I, every day it seems like I uncover 2 or 3 things that I need to learn in order to just keep moving forward. You know, little things about the program. Okay, that mouth shape should not be overlapping that. Okay, so this level, this is obviously the critical one. So I'm curious, it's called pencils here, but what I don't know how to do is, well, and like I said, the safest thing to do would be to just zip up the whole OpenTunes project. Just zip the whole darn thing up and put it in on a portable drive or something, so that, and just put a date on it. And then you know, if I want to get back to January 30th, there it is. Don't worry about where anything's located. Just grab the whole scene file. But this is interesting because there's really no option to get the properties of the entire level, I don't think. So if I really wanted to know what was going on, I'd probably go File, Save Level. Now that doesn't work. It'd have to be Save Level As. Okay, and now it's telling me it's skipping frame. And it's going to save it in Drawings. Now, okay, so if it saves it for you, it's going to put it in the commensurately named folder inside the Drawings folder. This is for Tunes raster levels. And so this is going to be a test level. And it should save it as a TLV. But by gum and... Okay, so now this is interesting. I come back over here and this is selected instead of this. Did it just save the wrong level? Probably. Let's double check. Save level as. Jeez. That TPL, that icon is like a palette. That's a... Oh, I see what happened. Oh my gosh. No undo operations available. OpenTunes is acting stupid right now. It's not a deal breaker, but it's definitely acting stupid. Okay, File, Save Level As, and every single time... Okay, so this is what I want. So there we go. Save it, overwrite. Okay. New scene. Should we save all? No, this time around we're going to discard the changes. Okay, so now I should be able to go here, and way down yonder I should see test level, and if I drag it in here, there it is. Yeah, that worked. So to me, do I like this or not? I think I don't. I prefer the idea that the level refers to individual actual drawings as opposed to packing all the drawings into a single object. Inio-san, hey there. New version now. Yeah, that's what Oxer was saying. He was saying there's a new version, so I'm sure I'll be checking it out. Okay, and every time I come back to this scene, it's taken this and stretched it down to here, which is a little goofy. Okay, so now we're back to shadows and whatnot. So let's just rock and roll and get some work done. Okay, so do the shadow level. I seem to have lost my grip on my stylus. Ah, that's cool. Just want a little hint of a shadow there. Cool beans. Okay, so it seems to me that this cell is supposed to be copied to there. Okay, and as long as we're cheating as much as humanly possible, I suppose we should copy that as well. So, now it's fill time. Fill, fill, fill. Uh-oh! That's cool. So, that's what happens. And then you gotta go in and patch it up a bit. Yep, there, that did the trick. Fill, fill, fill. And what about his eyebrows? I guess his eyebrows are just black. Alright, and I guess that would probably be the eye color. And what did I do with the sword before? I actually don't know. Let's erase that. I don't know if I did. I don't know if I actually filled it with anything. Seems to be. I see what I did. Just kind of drew over it. That's kind of bad. I need to take this bit right here and paste that in. And then I guess we should go ahead and refill it just to be safe. I'm using actually the eye color for that. And then where's my leather color? Let's go here, and just because I'm... Hello? Oh, I didn't mean to flip it. I hit the H instead of the K. So I need to sample that so that I can then go here and stick her in. Okay. So now we do not want to forget his eyes. And while we're here, Oxer says, female character has lots of detail. Great work, man. Thanks. Appreciate that, dude. Let's go freehand here because I can see a little bit of naughtiness. A little bit of naughtiness with my pixels. Evil pixels. Oh, we don't want that. Let's keep it under control, folks. Keep it under control. Okay, he does not get a specular highlight on his eyes because he is, well, the light's behind him, right? So, mouths come later. Okay, so Akari, what do we do with you now, girl? We're going to go nighty. Oopsie poo. We got to be in normal mode. Nighty. 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 Uh-oh. There's a leak. Those blasted leaks. You can try scrubbing and soaking and still you get leaks. Alright, hitting the P key. And now the F key. Oh, it didn't work. Oh, here's another leak. Oh my goodness. All the leaks. And we're only doing areas, so that means I actually can just paint, paint, paint. And it's gonna work, I hope. And it did. Shoo-wee. Yes, thank you. Just got a crash, huh? On the new version? Ah, yep, the new version. I gather. Yeah, you know, it's funny you mention the XML file because if you've noticed, every time I save this project, watch what happens. Let's save it. Can't save untitled.aif. Now that's an audio file that was in a level days ago and it's not there anymore. But OpenTunes is still referencing the AIF file that is no longer in the project. I find that a little irritating. Now I went into the XML file because Tunes files are in fact just XML files, and I tried deleting the offending lines from the XML file and it did not work. It actually broke the file so the project wouldn't load. So yeah, OpenTunes, it's great that it's a text-based file format, but it definitely can be a bit persnickety, and the detail, it is, okay, let me backtrack. I'm talking and trying to paint at the same time. It's good that it's a text-based format. It's actually very good. But it's not a very transparent format. Okay, I probably should take these effects off for the moment so I can see where my leaks are. Okay, yeah. Oh, I see. Whoopsie. Can't have that. So yeah, the OpenTunes file format should probably be better documented so that if people need to go in and hack around, they can. Where's the leak? I don't see the leak. I don't see a leak. Maybe it's choking on the fact that this was done with the paintbrush instead of the, you know, regular brush. Let's just see what happens if we do this. Let's see if that makes it. Ah, this might be part of the problem too. Phil? Ah, that worked. Yes! Yes! Okay, so obviously there's some wackiness here, but truthfully it doesn't much matter because it's actually covered up. But just to be, you know, a guy who appears to care about things that I actually know don't matter, I'm gonna go ahead and fill that in. Why doesn't it matter? Because it's all covered up with this. When she goes, see? So, well, that's why I save early and save often. Save all, baby. I like seeing this can't save untitled AIF because it reminds me that OpenTunes is in fact saving my project, which is a good thing. So anyway, got to turn this back off. Yeah, so there's a fair amount of work here to do. So I confess, I don't find this as fun as, you know, doing the animation and the drawings is a lot more fun than the ink and paint. Ink and paint is not fun. Ink and paint is like the bane of my life. But, you know, that's cool. It's cool, man. There it is. Gotta get those. Whoops. Where's her eyes? Right there. It just feels more tedious to me, you know. It's just kind of tedious. Alright. Come on, baby. Get in there. Okay, so if I'm going to stick to my plan, I have to simply erase the poor girl's mouth, which means she can't talk. Now, can you imagine a woman who isn't able to talk? Shh! I didn't say that. I did not. Don't tell anyone I said that. I'm joking. Kidding here, folks. Alright? Joking. Alright. So now we're going to have, oops, we're going to have 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, several drawings here that are principally the same. And we want to get in our groove as far as our shadowing and stuff. So let's just try to move quickly. This is getting back to what I was talking about when I started today, is you need to kind of aim for doing this stuff in real time. Okay, so she's got a little shadow here. Not horrible. Not horrible. Okay. Remember, the light is coming in the window in front of her. So that's why the ninjas are backlit and she ain't. Little bit of a nose thing there. That didn't work. Let's try that again. Nope. That's better. That's good. Nope. That's okay. Alright, that'll work. How about a little bit of muscle there for the girl? Why the heck not? Alright, so now let's give her some boozemage. You know, she is, after all, an attractive young lady. All of which is to say she does in fact have boozemage. So hopefully no young ladies in the audience are offended by me saying that. It's all good. I mean, quick question, by any chance, do you know how AMD processors work like OT, Adobe, and others? Nope. Not a clue. The only one, I mean, basically, broadly speaking, across the industry, NVIDIA has been better supported over the years. Okay. Versus AMD ATI. However, I do know that the Blender guys worked very closely with, well, I shouldn't say I know. I seem to recall that the Blender guys were working very closely with AMD on the acceleration for Blender, and so you know, Blender may be better than most programs as far as GPU support and all the rest, but it seems, my gut sense, you know, kind of on the street, is that it's reaching parity where it doesn't seem to matter that much whether you're running NVIDIA or AMD gear as much as it did maybe a few years ago. But don't quote me on that. I'm no expert. I happen to have an NVIDIA GPU on this machine. But I have in recent years used AMD chips on quite a few of my like laptops and stuff, and basically, yeah, they've been pretty good. Okay, that's cool. I like it. I like it muy mucho. So, can we leverage this to... Actually, you know what? We need to do the highlights as well. Highlight right here. B. So what I was saying earlier is I kind of want to do this more simply. I think upstream here it was getting a little more complicated than it needed to be. Too much detail. Shadow. Yep, that's got to be in there. Okay, so now there's a little stupid attack on my part because I don't want to bleed into the hair with that. I do want to go over the eyes though. I definitely want that shadow to cover the eyes. Okay, so then let's go specular small. Come on, baby. There we go. Nice. Yep, that'll work. Okay, so alright, so if I hit the D key here, then obviously it's going to insert these frames in between. Now I got to go to the browse and shoot. I don't know. We may play around with some different expressions. However, the point here is that we should be able to stretch this down to around about yonder. Okay, except that actually presented kind of a lot of issues. So that means what we need to do here is go D, which creates a new copy of that particular shadow layer, drawing, So I can go in and clean house, fix it up. Now this doesn't actually matter that much because, as stated, well, wait a minute, I guess it does actually. Yeah, because all the fun actually starts on the next frame, so that means this one does need to be attended to carefully, let us say. Alright, B key, shadows. Alright, let's put that shadow light on her eye and under, like so. And by the way, I said I'm gonna cover lines and areas. Well, wait, no, I'm just gonna do areas. I want to actually erase that. I hate to erase her mouth like that over and over, but it's what we got to do if we're gonna move the mouth to a separate level, which is really the right thing to do for lip sync. It'll be a lot easier later. Okay, so let me take this off. And okay, let's just do the little, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. I want to be here. 359, okay. Let's hit the D key. And here I can be a little sloppier. In fact, in a way, those lines that are sort of scattered all over the place are kind of a good thing, because it just creates, you know, some chaotic noise while she's waving her hand around, so no big deal. We'll put a little bit of shadowing on it though. Something like that. Yeah, like I said, this part doesn't matter that much because it's basically covered up. So that's fine. Fine. Okay, here we've got to go D key again. And oh, I see. Wait a minute. This should be 19. Yes. 21. Erase. Hitting the Alt key to make that bigger. So we'll just erase all of this so we can sort of start clean, but keep the stuff that's good. Cool. Cool. How long have we been going? Man, an hour and 15 minutes? Holy smokes, Gus. That's insane. Why, that's patently insane. Alright, 352. We're going to engage the fill tool, and up we got actually, I can see all kinds of leaks, as a matter of fact. So I'm hitting the P key so I can use my paintbrush. I think that did it. Yep, that did it. Cool. So, well, there is a problem though. Yep, I see the problem. Undo. See, this is something that I must admit bugs me a tad. Okay, I can't even say this because I have to do two things at once, and I'm not actually capable of doing two things at once. So let me fix this first. Okay, let's put a line right there. Okay, so I don't know if this is correct, but I think the problem here is that it's looking for lines there. The fact that it bumps into this other area of color doesn't seem to matter. It seems to think that it's still supposed to fill her shirt. So let's see what happens now. Yep, that's better. Cool beans. Okay, so now it is shadow time. And by the way, if we're really going to be technical about this, what we really should be doing is something like this. We should be taking this and putting this in shadow, because the light from the moon is actually coming in like this. So I don't know. Let's go ahead and just kind of try to do it right. Shall we? Yes, I think we shall. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, so that means there would be shadow-ish there. Okay, so clearly we have a problem. I don't know if you noticed this, but her ear got filled in with the hair color. So, you know, what this process says to me is that, this kind of gets back to what I was saying the other day when I was live streaming. I am very interested in designing the characters and, you know, running a show. I think that would be fun, and I think I could probably do a fine job as a showrunner, and even doing the key animation. I don't think I want to spend, you know, tons and tons of time doing this, what I'm doing right now. Feels a little tedious to me. I don't think it's what I really want to be doing. Plus, you know, I actually question whether I'm that great at it. I think I have more talent for the actual movement. I have a good instinct for movement and timing. Color, this has actually always been true of me. Color, I don't consider myself all that great with color, actually. I tend to, on my film work, I tend to struggle with color correction. Like, I'll color correct the whole movie and then wind up going back and changing my mind and, you know, trying a different color scheme. And I just don't know if that's my gift. Whereas I think basic character design and animation, I find it's easy for me. I don't find anything up till this stage right here. We're doing all the ink and paint. I don't find any of this to be particularly difficult, or, you know, it's pretty fun and easy. B key, browse. Whoopsie poo. Can't have that. Gotta grab the right palette entry. Okay. Okay, wrong brush again. Not only the wrong brush, but frankly, the wrong level. I am truly and profoundly a silly goose. Alright. B. Nope. Little too thick. Alright, so now we gotta fix this. Now we gotta fix that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the B key and just take the skin color and put a little line right there so that will fill. And then, by the way, that also tells me that I need to come in with my shadow like so. Okay, hit the N key. That's the actual size. Looks like we got a little bit of a strange growth on Akari's self. what do I want to do here? I guess I want to erase lines? No? Okay, what is going on here? Ah, that explains it. It's in a different level. It's in this level. I am a silly goose indeed. There we go. Problem solved. Okay. Now, when I say, am I particularly good at what I'm doing right now, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, I don't know, man. It seems like kind of sloppy. I feel like I'm pretty sloppy here. I really do. I just don't feel like this is the most stellar work possible. Now, in the context of a show, action and all that, will it look good? Yeah, I think it will. Actually, I think it's going to play pretty well. This isn't tremendously different than the stuff I did earlier. Let's put this on. And this effect is not, this effect isn't like definitively what it's going to be. It's just kind of what I figured. It's going to go by just about that fast. So I'll probably put some more in betweens to make it a little smoother, but I think we're okay. Let's go back up to the top here. And I can erase that. I don't need that note. When I first started live streaming, I posted that so people would know I'm going to be back in a couple minutes. Not happy with this. Just feel like I did too much. Too much. I mean, if the sun or the moonlight actually is really coming in from above, I think it might just, I don't know. Yeah, same thing here. I don't like that. I think I'm putting in too much detail. This one was kind of okay. There we go. And let's just tail off a little bit of that off the top. Okay, and what do we got? What do we have? There's another thing that bugs me actually is her jawline is not really quite correct here. Maybe we can get away with it. Let's just run. Let's put the start marker here. Where's our end marker? Is it here? Let's go at 6. Let's just do a little review. Let's see. Ooh, nice. Boom. Oh, that hurts. Oh. Ah. Okay. I think that's it. I think I'm good for tonight. It's been almost an hour and a half, and made some good progress. And it's just going to be more the same tomorrow. What's a bummer is in an hour and a half I have colored at best what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16 frames. Whereas the pencil drawings, those same 16 frames would have probably taken like 15, 20 minutes, you know, to draw. So ink and paint definitely way more time consuming. But it's what you gotta do. It's what you got to do. So, anyway. I think that's it for now, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Hey, thanks for the nice comments, Inio-san. Thank you for all the many comments, Oxer. I always appreciate the input, and I will say ta-ta for now and catch you guys next time, and I'll try to give you a little bit of a 5-minute warning when I start streaming next time as well. So, all right,